Hi friends, welcome to Yoga with Maria. I'm Maria and today I have a beginner yoga flow that you can do anywhere where you have some floor space and a mat. If you have some blocks, go ahead and grab them for today's flow. You're not going to need them, so if you don't have them, no worries. But if you do want to grab them, go ahead and grab them. You can also use a couple of books or a small couch pillow to use for today's flow. If you like this flow, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. I love to hear from people. Let me know what you guys want to see on the next videos. Let me know what you think of these flows. But I'm really excited, so let's get started. So to start, we're going to begin laying down in Shavasana. And just check in with your breath. So one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Let the feet flop to either side, or if that is causing you a little bit of back pain, you can bend your knees and bring your feet flat on the ground to ease that back pain a little bit. Close the eyes and start to settle in here. Focus on your breath. Start to make the inhales and exhales of equal length. So inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in and fill up the belly. Breathe into all 4 corners of the torso. Exhale, pull the navel back into the spine as you expel all the air out. Inhale again, breathe into the belly and feel your belly rise, and then your chest. And then exhale, pull your navel back. Continue breathing here on your own. Focus on your breath and bring your attention inward. Bring one knee into your chest and then the other, and start to rock from side to side. Keep your shoulders resting on the ground. And just move in whatever way feels good here. When you're ready, you're going to inhale and draw the knees up to your shoulder blades and lift your heels up to the sky, coming into happy baby. So you can grab anywhere where you can reach, or you can grab the backs of your thighs, the shins, the insides of the feet, or the outsides of the feet. And you're going to draw your knees up toward your armpits. Inhale here and exhale. Lengthen the tailbone down. Inhale, rest the shoulder blades down your back and relax them down onto the mat. Make sure you're not pulling or hunching. If you are, then just grab a little lower. This is a deep hip opener. And just bend or rock in whatever way feels good here. The name of this pose is Happy Baby, so just pretend you're a happy baby. When you're ready, bend your knees again and bring your knees back into your chest. Lift your nose up to your knees, pull your navel back in to your spine, and exhale, release. Roll onto one side of your mat and push up. We're going to come into seated. And from seated, you can cross your ankles and rock onto all fours. So it'll look a little like this. And you're rocking onto your knees, and then uncross your ankles. Your shoulders are over your wrist, your hips are over your knees. Make sure everything's aligned. And we're going to start with a few cat-cows here. So inhale, lift your chin a little bit, push your heart forward, lift your tailbone up, push down through the tops of the feet, so the tops of the feet are lying flat here. And exhale, dip the chin to the chest and start to round the back. Lengthen the tailbone down toward the mat. And inhale, drop the belly, pull the collarbones back wide, lift the tailbone. And exhale, dip the chin, round the back. So rounding your back like a Halloween cat. Inhale, send the heart forward, lift the chin parallel to the floor, lift the tailbone, push down into the mat. And exhale, dip the chin. I'm going to inhale, return to neutral spine. Tuck the toes under. Plant your hands and ground down through all 10 knuckles. So especially with your ring finger knuckle, your pointer finger knuckle and your thumb, ground down through all 10 knuckles. Spin your inner elbow creases forward. Your inner elbows can kind of move here freely, so just spin them forward a little bit. And as you lift your hips, keep that motion in there. We're coming into downward dog. So lift your hips and continue to spiral your inner elbow creases forward. Your ears are by your biceps. Spiral the triceps back and the biceps forward. Ground down through all 10 knuckles. Bend the knees deeply here. If your knees can't touch the mat, that's fine and that's okay. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to find length in the spine. So make sure that your spine is straight. And if you're getting to a point where you're rounding your back, you can just bend your knees here. Inhale, send that breath deep into your low back. Exhale, melt the heart toward the thigh bones a little more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, drop the knees. Uncurl the toes, and you can leave your knees here or you can bring them as wide as the mat. Send your hips back towards your heels, and your heels and your hips may not touch your heels here, and that's okay. Just go as back far as you can. You can even bring a block here if that feels better and put it in between your legs if you have one, or a pillow. And send your arms straight forward. You can bend your elbows here and bring your fingertips, your pointer finger and your thumb fingertips to touch, just to ease a little bit of that shoulder tightness that you may have up there. And just recenter. So you can come back to this pose during this flow whenever you want to rest or whenever you feel like returning to your center. Take a couple deep breaths here. Inhale, find your center. And exhale, walk your hands over to the left side of the mat, shifting your hips slightly over to the right. Fingertips off the mat. Deep stretch in your right side body here. Inhale, breathe into your side body and expand it like an accordion. On your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, walk your hands over to the right side of the mat, fingertips slightly off the mat, and shift your hips over to the left side. Inhale, send that breath into your left side, and exhale, pull your navel into your spine. Inhale, and exhale to let it all go. Inhale, back up to center. Take one more deep breath in here. And when you're ready, push up, coming back into tabletop position. Shoulders over wrist, and square your knees. Make sure they're hip width apart. Tuck the toes under, and we're coming back up into downward dog. So bend the hips and lift the hips high to the sky. Bend the knees. Start to pedal the feet, so bend the left knee as you straighten the right knee, and start to straighten the left knee as you bend the right knee. Just continue to bicycle the feet or pedal the feet back and forth to get a little stretch in here, keeping the spine long. Every inhale, think of widening the low back, and every exhale, melt your heart toward your thighs a little more. Come back to center and bend your knees. Bend your knees deeply here. Send that breath into the low back when you inhale, and exhale to melt the heart a little closer to the thigh bones. Ears by your biceps, spinning the inner elbow forward. You can't do that as well here, but that motion is what we're going for. Inhale, widen the low back, and exhale, drop the knees. We're going to return to child's pose. And we're going to do this a few times, so experiment here with what feels good. Your knees can stay hip width apart, they can come together, or you can bring them as wide as the mat and bring the toes to touch. It's going to feel different for everyone, so just do whatever feels good for your body. And again, your hips may not come to touch your heels, and that's okay. And your arms can be extended straight out forward, parallel to each other, or you can bend your elbows and bring your hands to touch to relieve a little tension in your shoulders. Inhale wide, lengthen your entire back. Send that breath, that line of energy through your spine. And exhale, melt the heart toward the ground a little more. Continue to breathe here. Move with your own breath. On your next exhale, plant the palms on the ground and push yourself up back into tabletop position. Knees hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart, shoulders over wrist, and hips over knees. Tuck the toes under, bend the hips, and lift the hips high to the sky. Imagine that you have a string from your tailbone and you're hanging from a chandelier in the ceiling. Bend your knees deeply. Remember, keep your upper back and your low back straight. We want to find length in the spine. Lengthen the heels and send the heels toward the mat, but keep the knees bent here. Plant down through all 10 knuckles, so make sure you're pushing down through the pointer finger, knuckle, and thumb. And exhale to release, drop the knees. Coming back into child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, fill up all four corners of your torso. And exhale to relieve any new tension. Inhale, fill your torso. And exhale, melt the heart down. On your next exhale, push yourself back up to tabletop position. Tuck the toes under. Spin the inner elbow creases up and forward towards the front of the mat. Lift your hips high to the sky, coming into downward dog. Inhale, breathe into all four corners of your torso. Fill your belly and then your chest. Exhale, bend the knees deeply, look up, and start to walk your feet up to meet the backs of your hands. Feet hip width apart. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or the tops of your thighs. Lift your chest. Your back is parallel to the floor. And exhale, release, bend over your legs, coming into forward fold. Drop your head, drop your hands, let gravity take over. Bend your knees deeply here. You want to keep the back straight, so make sure your belly is touching the thighs and bend your knees here and keep the spine straight. Inhale, bend the knees and circle the arms out, around, and up, coming into upward salute. Keep your hands shoulder width apart or a little wider, whatever feels good here. Pretend you're holding a big beach ball overhead. Inhale, bring the palms to touch, and exhale, lower the arms and bring your thumbs to touch your heart space. Inhale, lift your chest, draw your shoulders down your back. Exhale to release your arms, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet can be hip width apart here, or they can come together. Palms face the front. Ground down through all 10 toes. Spread the toes. And root down. Ground down through all four corners of your feet. From the legs, spin the inner thighs inward. Pretend you're holding a block here. Palms face forward. Navel up and back. Lift the chest. Draw the shoulder blades down your back towards your heel, towards your hips. And lift the chin a little bit. And then push your head back into an imaginary wall. A lot of us, a lot of the time, are jutting our head forward. So it's a good reminder just to check in, to tap your chin and then push your head back a little bit. Pretend you're resting up against an imaginary wall. Inhale, fill up your torso, and exhale, pull your navel deep into your spine. You can close the eyes here. Reach up through the crown of your head. So pretend that there's a string attached to the crown of your head that's pulling it up into the sky. And take a few breaths here. Focus on how your breath has changed since the beginning of this flow, of this yoga practice. And connect with it again. Make sure your inhales are equal length. So inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. On the next inhale, you're going to start to sweep your arms up, palms face up, and over above your head. Pretend you're holding a big beach ball again. On your inhale, you're going to flip the palms down and start to sweep the arms down. Pretend you're moving through water, so move really slow here. We're going to do this a couple times. This is called a quarter sun salute. So inhale and move with your breath. Palms face up, bring the arms up above overhead, holding a big beach ball. And exhale, flip the palms down and lower the arms. Remember to root down through all 10 toes and to pull up through the arches. So make sure your feet are engaged. Inhale, flip and lift the arms. And exhale, flip the arms, palms down and bring the arms down. Inhale, palms flip up and bring the arms up. And exhale, back down, returning to Tadasana. Stay here. And turn to face the side of your mat. I'm already facing that way, but you guys can turn to face it and bring your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Your ankles should be more or less in line with your wrists. Bring your arms out to a T and relax the shoulders down. Turn your right foot to face the front of the mat and leave your back foot parallel to the back of the mat. Make sure your front heel intersects with your back arch, so that's the stance that we want today. Inhale, bring your arms out to a T if you didn't already have them. Exhale, bend the knee, and coming into Warrior 2, keep the arms out and gaze over your front fingertips. You can move your feet around here to make sure you're at a good stance. The goal here is to bring the thigh parallel to the floor, but if you can't get there yet, that's okay. Look down to your toes and make sure that you can still see your big toe and your middle toe. So your knee should be lined up with your middle toes, and you should still be able to see your big toe here. So inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, drop the shoulders down. Make sure your shoulders are over your hips and that you're not leaning forward. Make sure everything is aligned here. So head over heart and heart over pelvis. Gaze over the front of your fingertips and stay here. On your next inhale, flip the palms over and we're going to straighten the leg and lift the arms up above overhead. So kind of like what we were doing in Tadasana. And on the exhale, bend your knees, flip the palms down and return to a T. Arms parallel to the floor. Inhale, straighten the knee, lift the arms up above overhead. You can keep them wide here if that feels better. And exhale, bend the knee and return to Warrior 2. Shoulders down, chest up. Make sure your shoulders are directly over your hips. And you're coming into this T again. Inhale one more time. We're coming up to triangle pose. Hands up. You can look up here if that feels good, but don't crank your neck too much. And release. Arms come down to your legs. And then turn your right toes back in. You can move a little here so it's easier for you to move. And then turn your left toes toward the back of the mat. And your right foot is now parallel to the mat. And again, move around here. Your ankles should be more or less in line with your wrists. And lift your arms, bring your arms into a T. Inhale, bend your leg and bend into Warrior 2. Exhale, draw the shoulders down and back. Look down to make sure that your your left knee is over your middle toes. You can still see your big toe and your second toe. And also check that your knee isn't drifting in, and make sure that your knee is directly over your ankle. That's super important. We don't want our knee being over our ankle, ahead of our ankle. So inhale here, straighten the leg, bring the arms up above overhead, and exhale, flip the palms and bring them down like you're moving through water. Bend the knee, warrior two. Inhale, flip the palms, straighten the knee, bring the arms up above overhead, and exhale, flip the palms down, bend the knee, and bring the arms back down to a T. Gaze over the front fingertips. One more time, inhale, bring the arms up above, straighten the knee, and exhale, release your arms. You can turn your left toes to face the side of the mat again, and then rotate your right toes to face the front of the mat again, and bring your left foot to meet your right foot. Returning to Tadasana pose. Connect with your breath again here. So close your eyes, palms face forward, root down through all four corners of your feet. Pull up through the arches. Spin the inner thighs in like you're holding, as if you were holding a block in between your thighs, so from your thighs. Breathe deep into your belly. Exhale, relax the shoulders down your back. Lift the chin and push your head back into an imaginary wall. Start to make the inhales and exhales equal length again, reconnecting with your breath. Lengthen the tailbone down and lift the chest. Inhale, sweep the arms out, around, and up. Exhale, bring the palms to touch. Bring your arms down to heart center. Bend the knees, hinge at the hips, and fold over your legs, keeping the spine straight and coming into forward fold. Let gravity take over. You can grasp opposite elbows here. You can leave your hands planted on the ground. You can come onto your fingertips. You can let the arms fall in whatever way feels good here. But remember to bend the knees. Bend the knees and keep the spine long. A good goal here is for the belly and the lower ribs to touch the thighs. Let the head relax here. Inhale, plant the palms, step your left foot back, and then your right foot, and then lift your hips, bending at the hips, coming back into forward, downward facing dog. So bend the knees here, and spin the inner elbows forward, ears by your biceps. Lift the tailbone high, high, high. Bend your knees deeply. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, drop the knees. Untuck the toes and come back into child's pose. You can bring your knees together here. You can bring your knees apart, or you can bring your knees as wide as the mat. Whatever feels good here. Experiment a little. Arms straight out in front of you, or elbows bent 90 degrees, taking the elbows wide to the mat and bringing the hands to touch. Connect with your breath again. Inhale, send that breath deep into the low back. And exhale, melt your heart down toward the ground. Inhale, plant the hands. And exhale, pull your abs up and in to push yourself back up into tabletop position. Bring your knees together to touch. Send your hips back towards your heels. And swing your legs out to either side and bring them out in front of you. Legs out straight, and hover your arms above your legs. You're going to slowly start to roll down. Pull your navel deep into your spine to help you stabilize here. And roll down to lie down on your back, one vertebra at a time. Once you've reached the ground, tuck your shoulder blades under, flip your palms to face up, and you can either leave your legs straight here, Let your feet flop to either side. Or if you're feeling discomfort in the low back, you can bend your knees, bring your feet flat on the ground. Bring your feet wide as the mat, and let the knees fall in here. Coming into our final resting pose. Find what feels good. So tuck the shoulder blades under your heart space. And start to let go of any conscious breath. Relax the forehead. Release that space between your eyebrows. Relax the forehead. Relax the jaw. Soften that space between your eyebrows. Part the lips. And just relax here. Let your belly become soft and move with your breath. Let the bones of your body melt onto the mat. And just continue to breathe here. Letting go of any of the tension that you've built up today. One big inhale. And exhale to release. Stay here a few moments. Close the eyes. Let the bones of your body get even heavier. And continue to relax. Just breathe. When you're ready, slowly start to deepen your breath. Start to rub your fingertips. Move your fingers and your toes. Start to move your fingers and your toes. Roll your wrists and your ankles. Bring one knee into your chest and then the other. Just hug your knees in and rock a little here. Roll on to either side. Coming into a fetal position on your side here. Use your lower arm to make a pillow. Bending your elbow and resting your head in that space there. Keep your eyes closed. When you're ready, use your upper hand to push yourself up into seated. Bring your palms to touch and bring them to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for sharing your time, your energy, and your practice. Sending out wonderful energy to all beings everywhere. Namaste.